Hi, I'm Justin Sims from the Louisiana Assistive Technology Initiative. This video covers our first quality indicator of assistive technology, AT consideration. Too often, consideration is perceived to be an assessment, or becomes just another routine to perform during the IEP. It's actually a brief but dynamic process in which all the IEP team members use data and their experiences to determine if a student needs AT to meet their IEP academic or functional goals. Now, IDA does not call for an actual assessment or evaluation for every IEP, but a discussion, usually using the data that's already inside the IEP, like performance toward goals, grades, and the team's experiences. If the team feels that AT is needed, then consideration is affirmative, and they may, depending on what protocol they have for their education agency, request a formal assessment or further assistance. Many states implement an AT consideration checklist, like this one adapted from WADI. However, it's important to remember that these are just guides to the process of AT consideration and discussion, and not the process itself. The Quiet Leadership team has emphasized 7 targets that you can look at to demonstrate how well IEP teams are considering assistive technology. Number 1. Assistive technology devices and services are considered for all students with disabilities regardless of type or severity of disability. For example, a common error is to only consider AT for students with significant disabilities and not, let's say, students with an exceptionality similar to specific learning disability. We don't usually write goals that state the teacher or para will read and write for the student with 99% accuracy. Instead, we like to focus on independence. So maybe some of these students that don't have significant disabilities can still be more independent if they had a device that could perform something as simple as text-to-speech or speech-to-text. Number 2. During the development of an individualized education program, every IEP team consistently uses a collaborative decision-making process that supports systematic consideration of each student's possible need for assistive technology devices and services. So the team requires procedures to collaboratively collect, extrapolate relevant data, discuss the possibility of using AT to achieve student goals, reach a decision whether or not AT is required, and systematically document the process with a rationale about the team's decision. Now that's quite the process, and I think the rest of the indicators sheds a little bit more light about number 2. And speaking of, number 3, IEP team members have the collective knowledge and skills needed to make informed assistive technology decisions and seek assistance when needed. Too often, the burden of the IEP can solely rest on the shoulders of the special education teacher. However, the student in question may only visit their SPED teacher a few times a day. The SPED teacher may not be present in all the environments the student is in, nor can the SPED teacher have the expertise of related services such as physical therapy, speech therapy, or occupational therapy. So without a team's participation, the consideration process cannot be fully completed. Number 4. Decisions regarding the need for assistive technology devices and services are based on the student's IEP goals and objectives, access to curricular, extracurricular activities, and progress in the general education curriculum. Most of the time, IEP teams already have specific academic or functional goals developed for the student, with routine progress reports to determine his or her progression. AT consideration results should clearly be based on the goals and objectives of the student. The team should be able to look at this and conclude if AT could improve student performance or increase their independence in these areas. Number 5. The IEP team gathers and analyzes data about the student, customary environments, educational goals, and the task when considering a student's need for assistive technology devices and services. As stated, most of the data just for consideration, not an assessment, is usually already in the IEP. That's why you have the goals that you have. But regardless of collection method, the team's data needs to be somehow incorporated into at least a discussion for consideration using the SET framework. SET stands for the student and their unique needs, their environments, where the student goes throughout the day besides just the homeroom class, the task, what the student needs to perform to be academically or functionally successful, and the tool. What are the AT devices and supports that the student requires to achieve their goals? Number 6. When assistive technology is needed, the IEP team explores a range of assistive technology devices, services, and other supports that address identified needs. AT consideration shouldn't be based on a price value of devices, nor should AT be considered a hierarchy where students prove they can perform a task with a low-tech item, and then they have to prove they can perform a task with a mid-tech item before finally getting that high-tech device. The team should look at all possibilities at once and request a formal AT assessment or explore additional supports if they're unfamiliar with the type of AT that student may require. Number 7. The assistive technology consideration process and results are documented in the IEP and include a rationale for the decision and supporting evidence. To achieve FAPE, the team needs to clearly convey how AT consideration resulted in a yes required or a no not required. Blanket statements such as not needed at this time doesn't demonstrate the AT consideration process, nor does it help future IEP members who may not be familiar with the child nor the parent, but still must consider AT later down the line, starting from scratch, because they won't know what was considered the years before. Thank you so much for watching this video. Next time I will be covering AT assessment. If you enjoyed this and you want more, please like this video and subscribe. That kind of support really helps us out and we appreciate it. Thank you so much.